The EU's desire for a fully fledged EU army has been painfully obvious for a while now, and of course we've seen over the years many British Remainers deny and even declare it a dangerous fantasy, the idea of a fully fledged EU army. Well, those people as ever were either completely stupid or dangerously naive, because we see now that is a story from Politico that is truly astounding in terms of considering where this European Union is heading. I'm going to bring you all the very latest on this, but as ever guys, please remember to click subscribe and the bell so you don't miss future reports. Now, this is a story on Politico. I mean, the headline alone I find pretty disturbing. EU draws up options for boots on the ground in Libya. Now, you know, at the time, years ago, I warned against going into Libya. My view is that the West typically takes far too much of a simplistic view of these things. We always heard about the Gaddafi regime versus the rebels. Well, who are they? What were their motivations? We see now that in a lot of cases it's Islamist extremists and armed militias now fighting each other in this region. But regardless of what you think of that, the mere fact now that the EU is looking at this sort of foreign policy intervention and boots on the ground, I think is pretty disturbing. A document obtained by Politico sets out possible European missions in volatile North African country. Now, not that long ago, you know, this sort of story would have been declared as balmy and fantasy by hardline Remainers determined to basically deny the EU's direction and desire constantly for centralisation of power and to increasingly act as an entity on the world stage, a military aspect to that. EU officials, Politico story reports, have drawn up plans to deploy European military observers to Libya if a ceasefire takes hold there, a potentially high-risk mission reflecting a drive by Foreign Policy Chief Josep Borrell for the bloc to play a more active role beyond its borders. A draft 10-page document prepared by the EU's foreign policy arm and obtained by Politico sets out a range of options to bolster a ceasefire in the volatile North African country, from offering advice to a Libyan-led effort through to deploying a fully fledged EU military and observation mission complete with land and air elements. The document even mentions the possibility of a military mission that would have the power to conduct its own operations in Libya, with up to 2 EU brigades comprising of between 5,000 and 10,000 personnel in total. But the document does say this option has been excluded at this stage, noting the political and physical risks of such an operation would be far-reaching. Now, included in the draft is the quote: "The threat level for EU military presence in Libya is assessed as very high. This is especially true for an EU force positioning itself between the parties in the conflict." Just look at some of these terminology now. EU military presence, EU force. Goes on to say, due to the report provided by third states and proxies, the amount of military equipment available to both parties is significant. The Politico story goes on to say the third option, one of the options that was being looked at, is the establishment of a standalone EU military and observation mission that would follow UN rules of engagement and would need, among other things, a clear exit strategy to avoid ending up in quagmire. Such a mission would need to use Libyan airspace and require full force generation by EU member states to produce a mix of intelligence, surveillance and military observer assets. It would need force protection for EU installations. It would also hold many risks, including asymmetric threat from independent militias and terrorist groups, which may lead to casualties. So there you have it. For all the years of denials about the EU's ambition of a fully fledged EU army, we now have a situation where the EU has drawn up options for potential boots on the ground in Libya. This is very real, and this is the direction the European Union has been heading in a long time. As I said, it's been denied time and time again, but documents obtained by Politico sets out possible European missions to Libya. I wanted to bring you this because I doubt it will be reported much elsewhere. I'll include a link to the Politico. I'm damn glad that the UK has had the sense to leave this bloc, but I think regardless of where you live in the world, the idea of an interventionist military-focused EU is one that actually is pretty disturbing. Let me know what you think about this story, guys, and as ever, remember to give this video a big thumbs up if you found this report informative. Click subscribe and the bell so you don't miss future reports. And of course, thank you for watching.